We've all been hearing the rumors about high-profile celebrities that are on Diddy tapes and that these Diddy tapes are being shopped around Hollywood. But is that even legal? Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and I'm here with Christopher Melcher. Welcome back, sir. Always a pleasure to have you. We were texting about this, and you pointed out, as I shared this story, which has been going around by this lawyer, Ariel. She's been on News Nation, talking about how there is a tape of an A-list person that she saw. But even in that first sort of interview she did on News Nation, and then she followed up with Piers Morgan, she mentioned the fact that the person in the video with Diddy wasn't doing anything criminal and clearly didn't know they were on tape. She also was worried because she couldn't verify the age of the person, and she was worried that the person may not be of legal age. And this all just was very shocking to all of us. We were all sort of jumped. I took the bait myself. She's now continued to do multiple interviews, and now that you've sort of planted the reality in my head, I don't understand how this can be real. It does seem like there's some serious misinformation, or this lawyer is conducting some criminal activity. Why on earth, my first question before we even play this clip, how on earth, even as a lawyer, if you are given such a tape that has these questionable behaviors of someone doesn't know they're on tape, potentially not of age, how are you then not legally obligated to just immediately give it to the feds instead of go on national television to advise said person to sell as quick as they can to catch and kill? What is your reaction to all this?
So there's a lot going on here. And when I've looked at these interviews, it's very concerning to me as a fellow lawyer to hear what Ariel is saying. So number one, on the evidentiary value of things. So if somebody has possession of evidence, the government can go and get that from them, by search warrant, if they prove that to a court. And that includes lawyers. So, a lawyer in possession of evidentiary value, information of evidentiary value can have that extracted from them, like, a weapon or something like that used in a crime. So here, so that was one of the first questions is like, hey, if she has that tape, she ain't going to have it very, very long. But then when we heard further interviews and she was questioned about it, she said, well, she didn't have the tape. Somebody showed her a screenshot of the video via FaceTime. Now, just think about that. Like so how many seconds would it take you to make an AI generated image of a celeb on somebody else's body and make a still of that and show it to somebody over FaceTime and potentially fool them? Not long. And what lawyer would actually accept that as kind of some credible evidence or proof that this person was actually on that tape and what the rest of the tape showed, to the extent to go on to the media interviews, or really a tour of media interviews, to say that this tape exists?
Yeah, I mean, 100%. And I want to play this clip specifically because this one just blows my mind. And not only for Ariel putting all this out there, but was this banned News Nation? Like, what are they doing, Chris? Here's just examples. I want to play this again. We played it before in our live. It got clipped. It didn't get out there. I want to make sure this story is getting out there because so many people are jumping on it. And Ariel, please come on the show if I'm missing something. I am not trying to accuse you of anything. I'd love to have it out. We can have a conversation about this. You can explain what I'm missing. Perhaps we are. But here's the clip in question.
To sell the tape, they sent me that article. I was not shocked by what I read in the article. I was hoping that even the client that I contacted would reach out and see and kind of alert that person that this was going on and to possibly help them. The person who has the tape really doesn't want to shop it around.
So all this sounds good so far. Oh, great. She got alerted. She wants to make sure the person knows. The seller doesn't want to shop around.
They really want to help and give it to wanted to directly sell it to that person. But
did you notice that quick? They wanted to help by directly selling it to the person. Like right there is where the turn changes. This wasn't about helping. This wasn't about stopping. She just said it was about directly selling it to them, not others.
As if they are going elsewhere.
We know that you've seen the footage. You talked about that last week when you were with us.
She hasn't seen the footage. She's seen stills, like Chris said, that could be AI. We don't even know.
So, as you know who it is, and I know that you can't tell us who it is for all the reasons, right? But as you know who it is, and as we're moving through this story, and it's starting to really feel like it's unraveling, and you feel bad for the person, and we don't even know who it is. Is there anything more you can tell us about that part of it?
Can you please speculate further on this celebrity so we can get more clicks?
I really do feel bad about the person. Part of the reason that I did come and say something outside of just to protect my own safety, but I wanted to sound the alarm, essentially, ring the dog whistle, if you will, to that person that maybe they should do something about this before it came out. If I was them, I would do something about this. And the only way to do anything is to do the catch and kill. That's the only way to ensure that it doesn't come out, you know.
Chris, I got to go to you now. That's the only way to ensure this doesn't come out? What on earth is she talking about? It sounds like she's brokering the deal.
Yeah, so this was also phenomenal. In her earlier interviews, she was saying, I was contacted by a person and this person told me ... Now, when a lawyer is contacted by a person, you know, for legal advice, we call those people clients. And anything that the client tells the lawyer is protected by the attorney-client privilege, unless it's in furtherance of a crime. And the lawyer is basically on their grave supposed to say, I will never release this information without express client consent. So here she's going on television saying that her client told her certain things. And the implication of those statements was that the client wants to sell the tape to the alleged celebrity who's allegedly depicted on this thing, if it's even real, so that the tape does not get out. We also have a word for that called extortion. So,
Thank you.
Basically like telling somebody like, hey, if you pay me money, I will make sure that this deep, dark secret of yours is not exposed. So again, mind-blowing stuff that is being said, which then calls into question her competency. Like, why would she reveal any of this stuff from a client?
I guess the person in the tape isn't a client, but she tried to use her client to get to the it's confused who her clients are, and that's part of the problem, because now I don't know who she's being, allegiant to, which she's not supposed to speak about anything her clients are doing.
Well, yeah, the way I understood her earlier statements is that the person who wants to sell this tape is the one who contacted her, and that would make the person the client. And you don't need to have a retainer agreement or payment. The law looks at this attorney-client relationship very broadly. So somebody going to her for legal
screenshot.
assistance.
She's having the conversation. She's talking to other clients to get to the person. You're right. This seller is now technically her client, correct?
That's the way the law would look at it, no matter how she personally looks at it. And now she's saying or attributing statements or intent to that client that this person wants to sell it to the alleged celebrity so that that information does not become public. Do the right thing, celebrity, which again, implicates this potentially being extortion. So again, mind-blowing that a lawyer would do that.
Sorry to interrupt, but just to reiterate what Chris says and add another layer, this person's a victim in the tape, allegedly. This person didn't know. This person was, I suspect, victimized for years by this person on tape, didn't know they were on tape, may not have been of age of tape, and this is what this woman's out there selling. I'm just, no one's pushing back. I don't understand. How is this allowed? And it's going everywhere, bigger and bigger. And I want to keep playing this because it gets worse, Chris.
We're taught that God helps those who help themselves. So if we have a situation where
God teaches us to help, Chris,
that person does have the opportunity to purchase the video.
He has the buy now or you might lose out. Do I need to throw in a free spatula? What the hell is this?
I would absolutely purchase the video.
Wow.
Absolutely purchase the video.
Wow. Well,
she's clearly trying to push this celebrity, showing up to all these news outlets, talking about, you better get it. And it gets worse. Do you think
this is going to surface publicly? I mean, are we getting close to that moment?
From what I
remember, what was it a couple minutes ago? She said, we want to protect this person. I feel bad for this person.
I think so. I'm hearing whispers that there is at least one major network, possibly two, in a bidding war.
There's at least one, possibly two. She's making shit up. What major network's going to buy this criminal tape, Chris? What major network? Is there any major network in your brain that would buy a tape that doesn't have both parties consented. We don't know the ages of it. They may be a victim. What major network would risk their credibility to put such a tape out there?
Well, yeah. So first of all, news networks don't buy stories, at least not credible ones. And so they'll look at information and they'll report on credible sources of news, but they're not going to buy tapes. That just, again, there are some outlets certainly that do that, but then they would take an enormous risk of having this information maybe being publicized and then turn out to be false. That A-list celebrity would own them for doing that. So why would they pay anything for a tape that they potentially couldn't use? Why would the celebrity pay for a tape when there could be thousands of copies out there, including in the hands of the government already when they seized his electronic devices 6 months ago in the search of both of his homes?
No, Chris. This is the only way to stop it.
Yeah.
Buy now.
Yeah. I like I say, I'm kind of flabbergasted by what I'm hearing from the lawyer. I'm also, and I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that the news outlets are kind of giving this any air time, because it is inherently incredible information, speculative, and just sensationalizing this story and this alleged victim who's depicted on this video.
And she's just trying to help. But if you don't hurry up, these two networks are in a bidding war.
So I believe we're sooner rather than later maybe finding out, unless that person comes and purchases the video themselves, which is really the goal of the people who have the video.
To extort them. It's just like, I can't even believe the words coming out of this woman's mouth. You bet. Really, now we want to help you. We empathize with you, but the goal is to sell it to you, not the networks. But if you don't buy it, it's going to be going to the networks. This is extortion.
Yeah, that's like, again, it kind of smacks of it. Again, I don't know what her motivation is on all this, but it's like I say, it's not a great look. I think for a lawyer to be going out there and doing those type of things. It's also not a great look for the media outlets to be sensationalizing this stuff. If there's a tape, hey, and there's a credible source, go fine, report on it. But that groundwork to do reporting has certainly not been done.
Right, and especially if this is the case, if this is the truth, and News Nation is literally teasing and stretching out for this lawyer. And again, I don't know what's going on. Please, Ariel, correct me if I'm wrong. What are we missing? It sounds like you're doing an auction on News Nation to the highest bidder, unless you pay the biggest dollar A-lister who was traumatized, which you better do, because that's the only way this tape's going to go, which is absolute horseshit. The tape, as Christopher said, probably is already copied numerous times, might not even be real. It's never the move to negotiate with an extortionist, correct, Chris? What do you advise clients when they come forward and say, they got a tape on me, they got dirt on me, they want me to pay? Is there ever a version where you pay?
No, I mean, in a lot of those cases that we've seen, the target of that has gone to the FBI and will be tape recording and doing all this stuff to have that person arrested. So that's a lot of times where that thing winds up. And hey, if that tape is out there and and exists, then they're just going to have to deal with that. It's going to be terrible for that person. But dealing with these flaky people is not going to help anything.
The only justification, I've been racking my head now since it's come out, maybe this is all an elaborate sting to get them on TV and make the extortionists feel comfortable, and they're really actually been recording it. It's literally the only thing I could justify this. But even that I feel like is still dangerous, because now the victim on the tape has been exposed and theorized. And yes, there are names going around and who this person is. We will not be engaging in that. That's morally, ethically, legally, I think, awful. If someone in a tape didn't know they were on a tape or abused in a tape, we shouldn't be announcing who that name may be. And all these outlets thriving and drooling to get it out there and tease it, to me, is shame on them. This is supposed to be about the victims, not about, and the celebrities who participated criminally, absolutely name them. But people who were on this unwillingly, of course they shouldn't be named. They should not be exposed further and re-traumatized. Anyway, this was mind-blowing, but we had Reyes on yesterday. I'm glad to have you back on because you instigated this. You concur something is fishy here.
Yeah, I think that, like I say, I'm really questioning why that was aired at all and so many times. And what the lawyer was saying is, again, not a good look for the legal profession. But hey, we'll see how this story unfolds. But I would venture to guess that, check back in a year from now, there is no tape.
And I open invite, Ariel. If I'm missing something you'd like to clarify, please come on. We will post that update, and I will update the comments here if she has a comment, because I'm not trying to throw her on the bus, but I'm concerned by what I see up there. This looks like a live auction. I'm not okay with it. So make sure, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that like button as well when you get those alerts, and leave a comment down below and let me know what your thoughts are down below. Make sure also, if you haven't already, go support Christopher Melcher over on Twitter, CA_divorce. Always a pleasure, sir. Thank you so much for making the time. We will have you back as well. Check out our previous video or our other video. We're going to be talking about Diddy's appeal. Will he win? There's so much news breaking in. Don't miss it.